Paranormal Pete, and I'm on a journey to seek answers to the questions that have crossed all of our minds. What happens to us when we die? Is there an afterlife? I'm a regular guy who discovered the gift of psychic mediumship in my 30s. My passion for history and the unknown have put me right here, right now. My mantra for anything paranormal is, we don't know much and anything is possible. Join me as we find our way through the stories, evidence, and experiences of the paranormal and beyond in search of answers, even if that leads to more questions. Are you with me?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Pete Orbea. We're on episode 108 tonight. I think it's 108 here on WLTK-DB.com and everywhere where you like to stream stuff. So look us up, WLTK-DB.com. That's on all the socials and wherever you like to get your podcast from, or if you like to watch videos and go on YouTube. Very excited for tonight. I've got two guests coming on that have an excellent podcast, Lunatic Soup Podcast, and they talk about ciders, which I'm getting interested in. So we're going to talk about a little bit of both and share some spooky stories and fun stories as well. So we'll be bringing Meg and Reyna on here shortly. But welcome to the show. We got Courtney saying hello. Hey, how's it going? Give a shout out. And good friend of the show, Mary. She couldn't comment last week for some reason, but looks like she can this week. So thanks for watching. And we got another person saying, hi, Pete. Hello. If you want your name to show up, just go to the StreamYard Facebook page and allow that permission. And then you'll show up there. As I always start every show off, giving props to station owner and host of Haunted Voices, Todd Bates, for running the ones and twos and making this whole train work. Thanks a lot. And if you like the intro music, that's my band, Steady Rock Cosmonaut. Hope you like the music. Go to steadyrockcosmonaut.com or look it up anywhere you get your music from. That's a song called Magic off of our first album. And always have fun jamming. And I think music and the paranormal cross over in so many places. Especially with energy, but hopefully you like the band, steadyrockcosmonaut.com. And of course, I like to talk about upcoming conferences because I feel like they're really important to just growth in the personal growth in the paranormal field or beyond, whatever you're looking for. The conferences are such a great place and good opportunity to network with other people and have shared experiences and all that kind of stuff. So one that's coming up soon is the OC Paracon down in Anaheim, and that's run by a good friend of this show, Henry San Miguel, host of Paranormal Perception. If you haven't checked out that show, look it up. That's coming up October 6th through 8th, and you want to go to ocparacon.com. Get your tickets now before they sell out. So that's ocparacon.com. Had such a blast last year at that conference and wish I could make it this year, but maybe next year. We'll see. Also coming up is another one of my favorite conferences is the Oregon Ghost Conference, and that's in Seaside, Oregon. If you haven't been to that one and you're in the Northwest, you're missing out. Let's go to OregonGhostConference.com. That's coming up March 22nd through the 24th in Seaside. And it's just, I've met so many great people and learned a lot of great stuff at that conference. And also have learned so much at the Port Gamble Ghost Conference, which is coming up. That's the one that I coordinate. And I've been doing it for 13 years now. So this is the 14th annual Ghost Conference. And it's so fun to put on every year. This year we get to use the historic ... haunted theater along with the Hood Canal Vista Pavilion. So we got two venues to work with this time, which means we could do more panels and more special events and really kind of mix it up. So there's going to be some great vendors there. And plus, we get to investigate multiple locations on Friday night and Saturday night of the conference, and that's November 10th through the 12th this year. So Friday and Saturday nights, there's opportunity to investigate up to 6 locations here in Port Gamble. So there's the museum, there's St. Paul's Church. We don't really advertise that one's haunted, but people have experiences in there, myself included. And then there's the old doctor's house. That's house number 7, the New York house, and the Walker Ames and the Masonic Lodge. So really looking forward to getting into those places with everybody this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, we have a psychic gallery reading Saturday night with Nkasha Amenti. And if you don't know who she is, she's awesome. You need to look her up. She'll be doing a psychic gallery reading. She's done one almost every year for the conference. Great friend of the town in Port Gamble and the conference. And then we also have fellow host here on WLTK-DB, Kelly Brickle, host of the Psychic Hour and the new Numerology Hour show. She's going to be up and she's going to do a numerology gallery reading for that's a ticketed event. So looking forward to getting that going. And you can get your tickets at portgamble.com or look it up on Eventbrite. But go to portgamble.com, or you can go to portgambleparanormal.com and just click on the conference button and you'll find where you need to go. We just posted all the speakers and classes, and there's some good ones this year. Some great minds coming to the conference yet again. So get your tickets at portgamble.com. And I've got a sold out Ghost Walk this Friday, and I'm excited that tonight's guests are going to be coming on the tour with me this weekend on Friday night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will be posting my fall dates, so like October through April, within the next couple of weeks. And of course, those tickets will be posted at portgambleparanormal.com. Also coming up, I got a lot going on Saturday, September 16th. My guest last week, Miss Joanne Clarkson, and I are partnering up for a palmistry and psychic mediumship development workshop. And that's on Saturday, September 16th. That is a ticketed event. It's $40. You get a palmistry workshop and a mediumship development workshop. Then there's a dinner break, and then we're going to cap the day off with a gallery reading for all the attendees. By the way, I should mention that this workshop takes place in the historic old Franklin Lodge number 5, the old Masonic Lodge here. It's one of the oldest Masonic lodges west of the Mississippi. So we're going to get to be in the building all day, which is great fun. So look that up. That's at portgambleparanormal.com. It's $40 from like 1:30 until 8. So a long time during the day. You get to hang out with me and Joanne and hopefully learn a lot of stuff and have some self-discovery. So that's coming up. Next week, I've got Mr. James Clarkson coming on the show, and he's the UFO detective, and he and I are going to be talking about all the new news. I know people don't like to be called experts in the field of the paranormal, UFO, or cryptids, but this guy is like a legend, so I'm looking forward to talking to him. He has been in the field of research for decades and has investigated thousands of UFO reports. So I'm really interested to talk to this guy and see what he's got going on. And then after that, a good friend of the show coming back on, Miss Karen Fraser. James is going to be at the Port Gamble Ghost Conference, and Karen is also going to be there. She's teaching a class, Karen Fraser. And we always have a ton of fun. We end up laughing most of the time, I think, when she comes onto the show. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then on August 29th, I've been waiting to kind of share this news, but that'll be my last show of the Paranormal Pete Show. In the current iteration that it is, I'm taking a step back from the show for an indefinite amount of time. I'm trying to finish a book that I've been working on for probably 30 years now. I don't know. I need to finish my book. And anyways, it's been an honor and a blast. And I've learned so much from doing this show, and want to thank Todd and all the other hosts and producers at WLTK-DB. It was a really hard decision to make, but looking forward to getting some other stuff done, and I'll be back at some point in some fashion. I'll be back, but if you go to Facebook and you look up Paranormal Pete Show, I will keep the page going. I'll be posting some live videos from investigations and things like that from time to time, where I'll just go sit in a haunted, creepy spot and we'll all chat. But so I'll keep that page going. I'll also be posting about ghost walks and my workshops, all that kind of stuff at that page. So stay tuned there for some content. And we got some other people checking in, and Courtney was saying Sublime Vibes. Oh, that must have been for the music. Thanks for listening. And good friend of the show, Michael Luciana. Hey, how's it going? Another person checking in saying hi. And Courtney, thanks for coming. Sorry to hear that. Good luck on all your endeavors. Well, thank you very much. It's like I said, I've learned so much on this show. It's insane. That was like the best part about it is talking to so many different people with so many different perspectives, shared experiences, not shared experiences, but getting to learn different perspectives and stuff. And that's what this is all about, right? In the paranormal is we all need to have that open mind and be ready to learn and never stop learning. And so that's one of the best things, experiences about doing a show and each week doing it live is learning so much cool stuff that I will always have with me. So, but enough with that news. But Tuesday, August 29th will be my last show on the station. And thanks again for everybody who watches each week and comments and ask questions, things like that. So the last show will be kind of an open topic. I'll just kind of take questions. Maybe I'll do some readings on the air. We'll see what happens there. Thanks, Michael. Best on all your next adventure, Pete. Well, Michael, hopefully one of my adventures takes me over to your neck of the woods and we can go to Gettysburg together. That's one of the places I really want to go. Well, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest for tonight, Meg and Reyna. They're hosts of the Lunatic Soup Podcast, and it's a paranormal and supernatural podcast hosted by two friends, Meg and Reyna. Each episode, they discuss a different topic related to the unexplained, such as ghost stories, cryptids, aliens, the hot topic right now, and more. They also interview experts in the field of the paranormal, such as ghost hunters, historians, and experts of the supernatural. Meg and Reyna are passionate about the paranormal, and they bring their own enthusiasm to every episode. Join them every Thursday as they dive into the unknown and sample local crafted hard ciders, aka Lunatic Soup. Here we go. Big show welcome to Meg and Reyna from Lunatic Soup Podcast. Woo!
Hello.
I had to breathe. Whew.
Yes. A lot to say.
There was a lot to say there.
Yeah.
There was a weight on me at first, but it's gone now. So
good.
Glad to be talking to you guys. Glad to have you on. And Courtney say welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Tom Edmonds, yay. I hope he's cheering yay for you guys.
That's Mr. Boo Boo.
That's Mr. Boo Boo.
If you listen to the show.
Okay. So it wasn't someone
AKA
saying
my husband.
Yay to me ending the show. Okay, good.
No.
We had another person comment. Best of luck, Pete. Love the show. Miss it, but I'm happy for your new adventure. Well, thank you guys. It's very nice of you all. Michael saying hello, ladies.
Hello.
And
Hello.
Michael is an awesome investigator and researcher over on the East Coast. And he has Heritage Hunters. It's a show on Amazon Prime. So there's a plug for you,
nice.
Michael.
Awesome.
Well, we heard you say Gettysburg. We just did an episode on that, which
We
was
did.
so much fun. That was
a good one.
one of our favorites we've done.
That's one of the places I really want to go, just to walk around and like, I don't know, it sounds bad, but soak it in. And just
There's
soak
so
it all
much
in.
residual energy there that you need to experience it.
Right. And it seems like there's a lot of visual activity, a lot of apparition sightings and stuff. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit, since you guys just did a show on it. Have you had experiences there, or like what was your favorite thing you've heard about the experience at Gettysburg?
Well, my mother-in-law has investigated it a few times, and so she sent us some footage, some experiences. I think my favorite when I was researching it was the covered bridge where the three men were unfortunately hanged. and the activity that happens there, and like the smell of cigar smoke, the floating heads, the sounds of gunfire in the distance. I think that's where I would probably go first.
Yeah. That's I love when you get the smell too, like the the cigar or pipe tobacco, or here in Port Gamble, there's in the room in the Walker Ames house that will kind of do that. All of a sudden there's like pipe tobacco smoke in your face, and then it's gone and no trace of it.
Wild.
That just adds to the experience. And Michael's saying it's Saxbridge.
Yeah, Saxbridge.
Saxbridge. Yeah. Michael's out there all the time in Gettysburg. So she sent you some evidence and things like that. Did she get recordings of the gunshots?
It wasn't gunshots.
It wasn't gunshots. It was voices.
Yeah, voices. Wasn't that the one that had growling in it too at one point?
Growling, and then she had her camera that can pick up energy, and there was, energetic little stick figures everywhere.
Yeah, whatever.
Like whatever. Ghost Smurfs. Yeah, little ghost Smurfs running around. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about growling in audio pieces? I mean, does it make your skin crawl, or does it make you more interested?
I think we have two different.
I feel like anything will make my skin crawl. I'm a little less.
That's kind of our dynamic here. I'm the one that wants to keep going. I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want all the experiences. And she's just like, ugh.
And I'm a medium. So I experience stuff on my own. I'm not necessarily the one who's always like, let me go get more of it. Cause sometimes I freak myself out. So
I think we all do at some point. We can't, we're human. We can't escape it. And Courtney was saying LMAO, team skin crawl.
Yeah. When I listened to the audio that her mother-in-law sent in, I listened to it, and I had to listen to it a few times, and I was just like, that's enough for me. I'm good.
Yeah. I got a piece of audio once that was in this old theater up in this area, not the one in Port Gamble, but in the area. And, I got this piece of audio that I don't really play out in public because it's like a Class B EVP. You can really only make out the last couple words, but it sounds like a growl, and it's like, why don't you come find out? And it's like, you come find out is really what you can understand. I can't really tell what the first part of it says, but it's like a wow kind of voice.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that.
Yeah. It's definitely a little unnerving.
I totally didn't hear it when it happened, and so I was like, "Oh, there's something like that in there," and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But let's back up a little bit. I'm glad we got to talk about Gettysburg a little bit, and it's definitely a place I'm going to go someday. If I have to haunt it, I'll haunt it to go.
There you go.
But it's one place I want to go.
Yeah.
But tell the listeners out there a little bit about how you guys kind of came into putting together this show. It's a really fun show. I'm putting the link out there on all the streams here for people to go check out your website. It's lunaticsouppodcast.com. Tell us a little bit about, Meg, if you want to start your background with the paranormal or what you were interested in, and then Reyna, if you could do the same and just kind of talk about what you guys liked before you met each other in the spiritual paranormal realm, and then how you guys got the podcast together. I think it's a great story.
Yeah, so I've always been interested in it since I was a little kid. I had experiences when I was a little kid, but I was told that it was wrong, so I kind of just shoved it all away.
Right.
And I ended up joining a family where my husband's mother is, the director of the Paranormal Investigators of New England. So
one extreme to the other.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she tried to be very respectful that maybe that's not something that I wanted to get into, but then I kind of just kept looking, like, I want to know more. And so, and to be fair, I've been in the family since I was about 15 is how long I've known them. So I kind of grew up with that in that sense. And eventually she would show me recordings that she had and video that she had. And then I would go on investigations with them. And it's just something that I always loved. And I started discovering that, I could feel things. I kind of understood the other side a little bit, and it just went from there.
It sounds like you were getting pulled. There was a pull there that was kind of, maybe you didn't recognize it all the time, but it sounds to me like there was a pull to it. Is that when you look back, is that kind of one of those hindsight 2020? You see, I got a pull there.
Yeah. And then I've always been interested in the lore and legend side of things. I've always been interested in cryptids. And, even like the old monsters, like vampires, werewolves, all those things. I love how the lore and legends from different societies and communities all over the world, they're all getting the same thing. So how does that connect?
Right.
That's
such an interesting thought. When you when you see different cultures that never even like had contact with each other.
Not even know each other.
We talk about that all the time. Like,
isn't that? Yeah. There's got to be something to it, right?
Right. Exactly.
If everywhere is experiencing these things, and I think one of the most important things when you think about storytelling and lore and passed down things is, there had to be an element of something that happened to start that story, for those people to share that experience. And so, whether you're talking about Thunderbirds or Bigfoot or whatever it might be, the Nephilim or whatever, all had to come from something very cool. I think that's cool that you've always been interested in that. I think maybe you like it was just natural and you were supposed to be interested in that. So cool.
I hope so.
We'll see where it goes, right?
Yeah. Hopefully big things. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. And Reyna, how did you kind of come up, and what was your interest in the paranormal side of things?
Yeah. So mine's like similar but different at the same time. I started having like medium experiences, or like seeing things when I was like a young teenager, I would say. Okay. And I had a mom who, instead of being like, "You're insane, that's crazy," she was like, "This is real. Let's figure out what's going on with you. Let me see what I can do to help." And she actually got me some books from the medium Sylvia Brown. Like, I don't know if you. And so that was my first like experience trying to understand like what was going on with me by like reading her books and understanding that. And it was definitely something that I experienced throughout like kind of high school. And then when I hit college, I realized that the more people I told, the more they made me feel crazy. So then I was like, maybe I am crazy. Maybe this isn't real. So I kind of like shoved everything down, even though in the back of my head, I knew I felt things. I knew I could see things, but I also was like, maybe something's wrong with me. I don't know. Yeah. And then many of things happened between now and then, but during, I would say 2020, I ended up going through what I call a spiritual awakening, where it's kind of like my abilities just started to really come through and there was no denying it on my side. And I was like, okay, well, this is happening. And then like Meg and I ended up meeting. Our kids go to school together. And we met, well, our kids were in kindergarten, but then reconnected
during COVID.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah. And like, as my things started happening, I realized she was kind of in the same boat. And I was kind of like, is this what's going on over here? And so she kind of helped me a little bit. And then one day she's like, "Hey, do you want to start a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast, but I never really had a topic." And then it just was like,
it was funny because I said, "I've had all the equipment for like a year and a half." And she goes, "So have I."
Yeah,
so.
I've had the equipment for like 3 years. And I was initially going to do a podcast. Like, I'm a photographer, maybe about that or about motherhood, but it never happened. And then when we met, and it was just like, uh-oh.
We talk about this stuff anyway.
Yeah, so may as well.
Yeah, share it,
entertain
right?
with it. Exactly.
You guys almost sounds like the Step Brothers movie where you're like, did we just become best friends?
Best friends? Yep. Want to do karate in the garage? Yep. That happens to be my favorite movie, which I quote all the time if you listen to the podcast. So
that was the best thing you could have said right
It really
there.
was. It's my favorite movie.
I just naturally came up with that one.
Yeah, that was
it. That's a great movie, but it totally reminded me of that. Well, that's cool. And so you guys are, I think we were talking before the show, you got 20 episodes now.
We're about
Yeah.
that. They
Yep.
might have not
Yeah.
all aired yet, but they're done and ready to air.
I think we're on episode 19 is next.
Isn't that? Yeah. Okay.
So we're close. to
Cool.
that.
Well,
yeah.
congratulations. And
Thank you.
what's Courtney saying? Supernaturally? Yes, I came up with that supernaturally. There we go. Nice. Well, that's so cool. I've got a chance to listen to a few episodes. You guys, I love the back and forth.
The banter.
Yes.
That's real life.
That is
That's how
real
we are.
And that's what's cool about it. It's not like
Yeah.
staged, it's most people talk like that about this stuff. And
Right.
and to not be like overtly serious about we're going to be stiffs, like that.
Right.
People tune out, and
Mhm.
don't
Yeah,
listen.
and-
So
Yeah.
that's so cool that you guys found each other and have started this thing. What's been your favorite episode so far? Is that a trick question?
No, because we actually we will go back and forth.
I know what mine was. I think mine was the Bobby Mackey bar.
That
out of
mine's
Kentucky.
Close. Gettysburg or Bobby Mackey were two of.
Yeah.
But Bobby Mackey might be my favorite too.
Tell
That
us a
one
little bit
freaked
about
me
that one.
out.
I didn't listen to that one.
Yee, that one's a good
What's-
one.
Well,
So
don't tell
Bobby
us
Mackey-
too much. We want people to
Okay.
go listen,
Yeah,
but
'cause you
Yes.
gotta listen.
Yeah.
give us a gist. Give us a good gist of it.
So Bobby Mackey's bar it's a bar in Kentucky, and it originally started out as a slaughterhouse in the 1800s.
Okay.
And then that shut down, and there was kind of some interesting activity that happened while it was shut down that maybe led to that residual energy. And then it went through periods of being a bunch of different bars and saloons and things like that, clubs.
For some sketchy people who did
Yeah,
sketchy things.
like,
that
can-
helps.
continually bad things happened.
Lots
there.
of deaths, lots of bad situations.
Was
And-
almost like a curse. Was it like kind of like
It's
a
almost
quote
like
unquote
that.
curse sort of place?
It
Okay.
appears that whatever energy was brought in after it was a slaughterhouse, even then was not good, but it kind of did curse.
Well, here's one of the things. When it was a slaughterhouse, they built a well in the basement to kind of throw in all of the entrails and all of the
Ugh.
other
Yeah,
stuff.
lovely, isn't it?
And so, that kind of became the hot spot of the building.
Yeah.
And so it's believed that maybe some people threw on their own volition, threw some bodies down there or whatever. It was a
Right.
place to dump things.
Yep.
And
Yep.
along with maybe a satanic cult or two. And
That could have popped up.
so there's that, but the bar is still open and functioning to this day. So it's a place that you can go into. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's there.
Yeah, we do have some audio from there.
Yeah.
That's-
It's on our Instagram, all the audio that we talk about.
Mhm.
It's on our Instagram and TikTok, like the growl, and then some audio from the well.
some pictures.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to go, we're on our Instagram. It's there and it's fun to listen to.
It's fun. It was, I think that's the only episode. As I was researching, I messaged Reyna and I said, this one's actually freaking me out. This one actually has so much to it that I need to take a little break here.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes there's stories and experiences that stick with you. Well, let me ask you guys this: with abilities, mediumship abilities, things like that. Have you ever been at a place and had an experience where it stuck with you for a couple days, 3 days? Have you guys ever had that happen?
Yeah, we actually at the Port Townsend, the castle up there, Men
Okay.
Castle.
Yeah.
Trigger warning, there was somebody in there who was not okay, and she was really struggling at that point, and we ended up actually having to call in some help to get her the help that she needed. It was another guest that was there. But before that happened, we were, going around with our little, EVPs and all that stuff. And one of the spirit boxes kept coming up with the word police, like police, and like warning us almost before this experience happened. So it's we went there looking for spirits, but it's almost like the spirits were on our side and they protected us in this situation.
Because this lady was not wanting to be alive anymore. And we got ourselves into a situation that both of us, I feel like, because we do have our abilities, our alarm bells, we like looked at each other. We're like, this is not okay. Like something bad is going to happen if we don't get out of here.
And that's what the spirit box, the EVPs were all saying to us.
Yeah. What do you remember? Was she in a room in or near where the woman jumped out the window?
I believe
ended
it
her
was
life?
that room, because she
that's
mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were across the hall from it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. It definitely stuck with us. It wasn't necessarily more, I mean, obviously there was the EVP with the police and the supernatural. That was about, but yeah, just the energy of that place too is like, you know, in certain areas you can just, it's unnerving.
And it hung around with you guys for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
How
it's
did
like
you?
The other side was
go ahead.
warning us.
It sounds, no, it totally sounds like maybe your guides were coming through, and
that was how I kind of felt, was like,
you're not hearing us.
Yeah, you're not listening, and we're like, what? But the police? What about the police? Like, let's have another drink. I don't know.
How much clearer can I be?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, how'd you guys kind of get, you know, when you have that experience and things kind of stick with you, how do you guys get rid of that?
We go to my backyard, light a fire pit, and just have an evening. Let the kids play, sit and chit chat. We just have to unwind. We've gone on walks a couple of times.
I'm big on the cleansing. I'll do a cleansing of both of us. I personally like to ground cleanse, take a minute. Yeah. Connect to my guides, because I feel like that helps me remind myself that like they can't hurt me. Everything's fine. Like because sometimes things do like jar you to the point where mine, that like from when I was young, one of the first things I ever saw was like a lumberjack looking guy standing in my room, and I was like 15. And that one like never has left me, just because it was one of my first experiences. It was terrifying. And like now looking back, it's not as scary as like what it was to me at the time, but still like
it gives you the chills when you think about it, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. That's a crazy story about the Manresa Castle.
It was a fun one.
Yeah. It's, you know, it seems rare for like it to be the other way around.
Right. Yeah.
But it does prove what I've heard other investigators over the years say, and I have experienced this. It's the living that are the most scariest during paranormal investigations.
1000%.
It's not the ghosts. It's the living. It's the living you got to watch out for.
Constantly tell my sister, because she has some interesting activity in her house sometimes, and I will always be like, just remember they can't hurt you. Like you uninvite them here. Tell them they're not allowed, but like they can't do anything. Just tell them, go away. Stop messing with me. Leave me alone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the living, not the dead, that are scary.
Yep, that's it. They're terrifying.
Well, we've got to take a station break here real quick. Pay the station bills. We're here on WLTK-DB.com. I'm your host, Pete Orbay of the Paranormal Pete Show, and I'm here with Meg and Reyna from the Lunatic Soup Podcast, if I can talk this evening. We're going to take a quick station break, and we'll be right back with these ladies and more stories to come. Stick around. Thanks.
No matter the questions, Ellie Weisencell can help you find the answers. Ellie is a gifted intuitive and a natural energy healer, which she applies using the body code and emotion code healing systems, among others, to help you achieve balance for your best results. Are you looking for more clarity about which direction to follow with your life, health, or career? Let Ellie guide you. As a psychic, Ellie can provide clarity to the path you are on, so you may use your free will to change the direction of your life. Are you wanting to communicate with a loved one who's passed? As a certified psychic medium, Ellie Weisencell can connect you with your loved ones on the other side to facilitate healing or offer closure. To schedule your appointment with Ellie, look her up on Facebook at Ellie Weisencell Psychic Medium, or email her at ellieweisensell@gmail.com. That's Ellie Weisencell, Weisensel.
right, welcome back to the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Peter Obey, and we got special guest Meg and Reyna from the Lunatic Soup Podcast tonight. Welcome back, guys. And got a couple of people commenting, checking in. Yeah, Polar Nights, good morning from Norway. Well, I hope you're enjoying some coffee on a porch with a good view, listening to the show. Thanks so much. And we also got Jess saying that was a wild birthday trip for me to the castle. Glad y'all were there with me.
That's one of our, we were there for her birthday trip and we were like, let's go paranormal investigating. And then
thank God none of you were on your own.
Right.
when that stuff
Seriously.
was happening. Woo, I learned a while ago, don't investigate a location by yourself. And especially if it's like someone's house, because you never know. The time I went by the one time I went by myself, I was like, I was in a real sketchy area, and I was like, all I had was a knife with me, and I was like, I don't know what I'm getting into. Don't investigate by yourself.
Noted.
It ended up being great. That investigation ended up being great, and the people were great. It was just the area I was in. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Like you said, be afraid of the people, not the ghosts. Sometimes.
Yes.
That's
And we got the defunct diva followed the Lunatic Soup Podcast.
Hey,
good
thank
luck
you.
With the book, Pete. Right on. Yeah, thanks for checking it out. A knife for the investigations. Yeah, no, that was just in my car as a just in case. Oh, she did say kitty. Well, let's talk about Meg, I wanted to ask you, in your bio, you talk about you always had an interest in the Salem witch trials.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask you about the evidence that's come out in the past, 30 years? I think in the 90s, there was a study done. With all that you researched and stuff growing up, what did you kind of think about the moldy grain as the cause of or they think the possible cause of everyone, hallucinating, convulsing, being seemed to be possessed, after, what did you think about that? Because I think there may have been a little more than that going on than just that. But what do you think?
I think that's definitely a possibility. There's been other stories throughout history where, something in the water, something in the flour of the bread, can cause hysteria or different things happening that may resemble paranormal activity, but isn't. Mm-hmm. But the fact that the Salem witch trials created such a mark, and most of the evidence, not evidence, but the recording of the time, it's gone. Like they don't have it. They have very little of the records. Yeah. Like the sermons every Sunday, most of them are gone when they used to record all the sermons, and a lot from that time period are gone. So that leads me to believe that the people were kind of ashamed of their behaviors at the time.
Yes.
So, which further leads you to believe that these were just people who wanted to get other people in trouble. And
I hadn't thought about it that way. That makes total sense. I mean, was the evidence, the writings, the recordings of things, do you know if were they lost to time, or do you think they were purposely lost?
From what I have read and, heard from other podcasts and stuff, it seems like it was purposefully destroyed, purposefully lost, quote unquote. It's interesting because you have the records from before and the records from after, but for that time period, there's not a whole lot. We're piecing together stuff from very little that we're piecing together from.
So somebody or some people were trying to control the narrative of what happened.
And you see later on, like we did an episode on Hannah Crana, the Witch of Connecticut. She had all sorts of stuff going on, and they were very weary to accuse her of witchcraft because of what had happened 100 years earlier with the Salem witch trials. So it really left a mark.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize all that stuff was missing. That puts a new spin on it.
Gives you a little different perspective on it.
Oh, humans. Well, it is, controlling that narrative. Well, okay. So I'm going to keep things moving because time always flies the second half here.
Yeah.
I got a cryptid question for you. I got a couple cryptid questions.
Yes.
Bigfoot. We're going to start there because, you know,
Perfect.
he's
Our
the
favorite.
the big guy himself.
Mm-hmm.
What camp do you guys kind of think you're in when it comes to Sasquatch research? You know, there's camp one is that it's a relict species. It's a relict hominid from, you know, that's evolved. And then the second one is more of a supernatural, the connection with UFOs, interdimensional. They go into trees, can go into different dimensions. Kind of what camp do you guys think each one of you is? Meg, go ahead and start. What do you think? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, we're the same. We're both supernatural.
Yes,
okay.
I fully believe that Bigfoot is an interdimensional being.
And is it, what makes you come to that opinion?
There's so many people who have seen and heard things, but there's no concrete evidence. There's no decomposing bodies of a Bigfoot. There's, you know, you don't see where they live, anything like that. But yet you still have all these people that see things and hear things. I've run into people in the little town that I live in Washington who they see me wearing my Bigfoot hat and they say, oh, I was up on Mount Rainier and you should have heard what I heard. Like, so many people have these experiences. She has a Bigfoot experience. And
I mean, it's not mine, but yeah.
But
yeah,
still. So I fully believe that they're interdimensional.
Okay.
And I think,
yeah,
before we started the show, we were talking a little bit about how, like, when, like, there's a consistent story throughout the world where like things are all like, people are all reporting like similar things. And, you know, the Bigfoot, depending on what continent you're on, there's one on every continent just called something else. And so to me, I find it very hard to believe that this is just something that on every single continent, they're making up the same
story
for thousands or hundreds of years, however long, you know, I mean, it's thousands, I guess, if it goes back to like native folklore. Yeah. Like in Australia, they have one, you know, from the Aboriginals and, you know, ours over here. And so we're big on the interdimensional being. Yeah. That's strongly.
It seems like more and more, I don't know if it's because there's more tech out there or more people have tech, like, you know, i.e. a cell phone in their pocket. But your friends say let's go squatching. All
just
right.
say where and I'm there.
All right. Well, I think both camps are right. If that can make any sort of sense. Like, because more and more as time goes on, it does seem like UFO experiences also have UAPs or strange lights, or, you know, like in the woods, people see strange lights and then they hear a Sasquatch, or they might even be lucky enough to catch a sighting, but there's these other strange lights and then they're gone. And so I think that there's very well could be, you know, something like that. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and so I've always kind of thought like, oh, they're just from another planet somewhere.
That's
and there's a wormhole or whatever. I don't know.
Yep.
But I also feel like, well, it could be relic species that's evolved too. And I think, well, I'll just give you this thought and you guys tell me if I'm totally nuts or what, but I think it's both. I think it's both combined. I think it could travel to different dimensions, but I think it's a relic species from Earth. And I think they've unlocked the secrets of this planet that we can't even comprehend yet or perceive.
I like that thought. Yeah, that is really interesting.
I think because of how long they've been around and how they've lived and communing with nature, that Mother Nature has shown them how to camouflage and how to cloak and all that kind of thing. And so I think they could travel, and that's with the help of other beings, I think. But I think they're from here. They just know way more than we do. We're too busy.
I actually really like that theory because, I feel like that adds up in so many ways with a lot of the stories that you hear too. I
don't know. I don't know. It just it makes sense in my head that there's so much about this planet we don't even know, right?
Yeah.
And that I feel like well, we're all too busy. We're all too distracted,
Yeah.
and
Right.
have been in our existence distracted with, doing this, improving this. Oh, fire. Oh, whatever. We've always been distracted, and maybe they haven't, and they've been able to unlock some secrets of Mother Nature. Anyways, that's
No, I think that's like, have you ever heard the theory or whatever that like trees are antennas and they take the energy, they bring energy down to earth and like all of that. So I feel like that actually makes so much sense, because if they're spending all their time in the wilderness, bare feet on the ground, in touch
Right.
with like the energy of the earth and whatever energy is coming in. I do feel like that is,
That's a really good
it is
thought.
like a very interesting, take on it.
Well-
I actually really like that.
well, thanks. I'm not so crazy.
No.
I mean, we're all lunatics, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what we like to be like. We're all a bunch of lunatics. So,
Well, yeah, I just think, them communing with nature so much, and if there seems to be intelligence with them.
Yeah.
And when you have cognitive thinking or reasoning, there's so much of our brains we don't know about, but they obviously have figured something out. So,
yeah, no.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
what do you guys, and I've asked Bigfoot researchers this too. What if we catch one
Oh,
in the physical? What would you hope would happen?
Well, a cryptid is, a species that hasn't been fully discovered by science yet, right? Like a gorilla would have been considered a cryptid at one point.
Sure.
So I think it could either, I don't think it would go in the way that a gorilla went, because there's been so much lore and so many stories regarding a Bigfoot.
Okay.
I think it would really unravel a lot of people's thinking and beliefs.
Yeah.
Because if that's real, what else is real? It's just like, the whole alien thing. If that's real, well, then what about my beliefs in this or that? And it would just unravel a lot and really make you redirect your thinking.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure some military around the world's caught one.
well,
we just
probably.
don't, and we just don't know about it.
But yeah, it's like, I like how I like think for sure they have aliens that, they've been researching. They just don't want all of us to go up in hysteria and be like,
Yeah,
we're all going to
'cause
die.
We would.
Right. That's
Most-
what we actually, we just did a little mini episode about the congressional hearing about UFOs, just kind of giving our 2 cents into what we think about it all. But one of our things that we were saying, that I think, is that they have to drop little breadcrumbs of things before, like, they're not just going to come out and be like, yes, there are aliens. Yes, there's UFOs. Yes, there's this, because everyone would freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to like ease us in a little bit.
And one of the aliens calls himself God.
Yes. Well,
Yeah. Yep.
there's that too.
Mass hysteria. Oh yeah,
Mass
for sure.
hysteria.
For sure. Yeah, I've always just kind of wondered, well, if we did catch one, I would hope that it would, agree to be studied but not experimented on. But to be studied and be able to go whenever it wants to, sort of thing.
I feel like that's a hope, but I
but
doubt.
We are humans. We are
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I feel like that's like, if it was the right person who was able to get their hands on one, then that's how it would go. But I feel like if it was up to the government,
Yeah.
I feel like that would not
be good for the Bigfoot.
Yeah. And maybe then it wouldn't be good for us, because maybe something would backfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true too.
You
And
never know.
Jess is saying it would never happen, sadly.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, very well. Time will tell, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My, maybe I'll have to share mine with you. My story off air, because I've told it probably too many times on this show, but the experience I had, the military was here quick. And
Interesting.
with fully loaded Humvees spotlighting where I was just hearing all this crazy noise and thumping and wood knocking.
They know.
Yeah. There's just no way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same as aliens. It's just,
Yeah. I'll have to share that story with you
definitely. I
on
wanna hear
ghost
it.
on the ghost tour this weekend.
Yes.
We'll hear it Friday.
But let me ask this before I ask you guys about cider. I'm kind of saving that for last.
our other favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a favorite? Well, hang on. Good friend checking in here. Hey, Debbie. She's host of Transcend with Debbie. Look it up, guys. She's an amazing host and does so much stuff out there. I hope you're doing well, Debbie. Thanks for watching. Do you guys have a funny or favorite ghost story that each of you could share? Maybe it's your own experience, or it's a story that you've been told that's a funny one, or like a favorite one.
I'll go with a recent, like one that happened to me like a year ago. And I don't know that it's necessarily funny, but it was one of those interesting, like when it happened. So I work as a wedding photographer as my other job. And I was in Sausalito, California, shooting a wedding. And my sister does wedding videography and was there with me and another friend. And we were at this very old hotel that was in what would have been like the gold mining area of San Francisco, kind of.
Okay.
On a hill. And the second we walked in the building, I was like, well, the energy in here is wild. And I was like, I could feel everything, but turn it off, turn it on. Like when you want to see it, hear it, it's there. But it's after a few drinks, sometimes it's not as easy to turn off, or it just comes through easier. And so we had finished shooting the wedding and we were all sitting like on a bed having wine. And all of a sudden the light in the other room just turns off and we all stop and look at each other. And I made my sister, I was like, go check that and make sure like it's not on a timer or something didn't happen. And she walks over, she's like, no, something turned it off. And I was like, damn it. And I knew there was somebody there, and I got up and there was this old, like I'll say gold mining dude. And he was like standing in the corner. He had a pipe in his mouth and he looked like he had just been out, looking for gold. And he was like, I just want to hang out with the pretty ladies. And I was like, sir, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Could you please get out of my room now? And I mean, that's just like one of those,
Did he leave?
He left. He actually was really polite and he left right after that. Like he didn't stick around and he was gone. But he was having a good time watching us, I guess.
Did he have a blonde beard, like a light colored beard?
I feel like it was gray is how I saw it, but maybe it was blonde and I just,
Could you see his hat very well?
It was like an old brown.
It had a big stain on the front right part. Big stain on the front right part of it.
How do you know?
I think I can see him. Yeah.
Oh, because you're medium. Duh. I was like, how do you know that? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That was exactly. Yes. That was him. That's so funny. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad he was polite, and I'm glad
he was polite.
Left.
Is he not very nice?
No. I think he is. I think he is.
No, he was polite. He was definitely around, and he lingered before I asked him to leave, but after I asked him to leave and did everything, he was pretty good. Yeah. And he didn't do anything harmful. He was just like.
He was just there.
He was creeping on us. I guess.
He's probably creeping, and his elbow hit the light switch when he was.
That was literally, but it's funny because that's how he was leaning up against the wall. Is like what you're picking up on is exactly what I saw. So that was exactly what.
Yeah, he was probably like, "Oh no, they're gonna find me now."
That's exactly.
What about you, Meg? You got a recent story, funny story?
It actually has to do with her. She was shooting a photography session, a Christmas session last November. And it was at this old wedding venue, like this old house that's a wedding venue down in Ordine, Washington. Okay. And she said, hey, I'll shoot photos of your family if you come help me set up. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll come help you set up Christmas lights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we were going down and she was telling me, now there's a spirit in this house. I don't think he wants us to be there. He's upstairs, all this stuff. So I walk in, definitely feel him there. Definitely. It seems like a grumpy old man.
Very grumpy.
And so she's showing me around the house and we go upstairs and I go upstairs and I hear him say, would you tell her to stop swearing?
Which I have a potty mouth. If you listen to the podcast, you'll find it out. Sorry, Mom.
And so I told her, I said, I think he's just grumpy because you cuss too much.
The first time I interacted with him, I was with it's actually my friend's wedding venue. And I had gone there with her to look at it. And we were up in this loft and I opened it and I heard, get out. And I was like, yep. Okay. See you later. We're done. And yeah. And then she came there with me and she was like, oh yeah, he's here. He's grumpy.
That's funny.
She's my favorite sailor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Well, those are great experiences. And if you know, here in Port Gamble, we do a ton of weddings out here. I don't know if you. Sounds like you haven't shot one out here.
No, I haven't shot one out there. Yeah.
That's what I did for about 10 years here was the weddings and events here. Yeah. I think I've done like 850 weddings or so.
Jeez Louise. Yeah. That's a lot. Do
you
officiate or?
No, venue coordinator.
Venue coordinating.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the best part was sending people up and down the aisle, coordinating that part of it.
It's fun. I mean, it's a fun job. It's one of those, like, you have to love, but yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And we got somebody sharing a story here. Jennifer, thanks for watching. She says our kitchen had burned out before we bought our house, and every time I light candles, the lights flicker. Found out from the neighbors the fire was from a candle. Just sharing.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I got somebody else here. I don't know who you are, but it says, "Hey everyone, how are you all?" Well, doing great, thanks. How about you guys? Meg, Reyna, you doing good?
We're doing good.
Doing
all
great.
right.
Here.
Loving the live. Just joined Ghost Trackers UK. Awesome.
Nice.
Well, if you're new to the team, I hope you have a good time and have good people to learn from. And I hope there are on that team some good skeptics, because every team you join, there should be some good skeptics. Those keep people like me in check. Believers.
I think we're believers too, but we both try and find. We're like, well, our first thing is looking for what could have been something else before we fully
Right.
Yeah,
you still have some sense of a pragmatic, way of thinking of things. I think even I don't investigate with much equipment anymore. It's usually audio. If there's a lot of visual reported activity, I'll do a camera, but I just do notes and a map of the place and an audio recorder and my own psychic impressions. But I still do. I've learned from good skeptics over the years to stop when there's signs of something. Check this, check that. It might be this or that. Even as a medium, I still try and do that. And so I applaud you guys for having that approach too. Still trying to explain, but how cool is this? Inside you're going, this is cool.
Yeah, that's it.
This is cool. Because, I don't know, 90% of ghost hunting, the term, is boring. Investigating.
Oh yeah,
it's like
very slow.
Sitting
around in the dark talking to yourself. But it's those little pieces of evidence that really keep us all going, keep us asking those questions. Well, I want to ask you guys about cider real quick, because as we were talking before the show that I'm really late to the cider game. And
it's okay, you're here now, so
just starting to get into it. But so you guys on your show, each episode you're featuring a different local crafted cider. What's for someone like me who's just getting into it, what do you recommend, as far as the type of cider, the ins and outs? If someone's just getting going like me, what would you recommend which direction should I go, I guess?
So I think first it would be are you a person who is more sweet or more dry? That's the first. It's kind of even when you're drinking wine, are you more on the sweet side or the dry side? And because that is both ways with cider. Some are very sweet,
almost like juice.
Yeah. And then other times they're extremely dry. And so when you're looking at a cider, a lot of times it'll say sweet or semi-sweet or dry. And so that's kind of something you have to establish, what your flavor profile that you like is.
Yeah.
We're definitely more on the dry side.
We like the drier ones.
But we do enjoy a sweet cider. But if it's too sweet for us, we always put a lime in it. And that is our favorite way to cut the sweetness while it's still good.
Yeah. I mean, if it's dry, we put a lime in it too. So.
Well, yeah, we put a lime in it all the time. We have a special name for that on the show that we won't say on here because I don't think we're allowed to. I don't know what the.
You can say whatever you want on the show. It don't matter.
It's called a sour slut. So when you put a lime in a cider, it's called a sour slut. When you put Fireball in it, it's called an angry whore. So we decided that when you put a lime in it, it's called a sour slut. So that's, you always hear us talking about sour sluts on the show. That's us drinking cider. And
so there's fun names. All right.
Yeah. Our Lunatic Soup is actually the name of what cider used to be called back in the day. So
oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
That's how we actually got our name, was because we loved cider. And so Lunatic Soup is cider. So we always say get yourself a glass of Lunatic Soup. So
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, we're pretty much out of time here, and what a fun conversation. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show, sharing.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
us.
so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing everything that you did. And see if your friend's got a jab for you here. Nope, it's a nice one.
Yeah,
Great
she's
job,
nice.
ladies. Great choice having Meg and Reyna on your show. Yes, no, it was
Thank
great.
you, Jess.
And I look forward to being on your show at some point.
Yeah.
And looking forward to having you guys out here. They're coming to the Ghost Walk this Friday, and then they can tell everybody about how it was, and hopefully it's not
Yeah, check
lame.
out our social medias. We'll be posting all about it on our social media this Friday. So check us
Right
out if
on.
you want to see that.
It's- It's going to be fun. And again, thanks so much for everything you shared. And great podcast. I hope you guys keep going with it and keep exploring the world of wild, weird, and the unknown, as you guys say on the show.
Yes.
Keep exploring that. And I'll be posting links tomorrow for everyone who wants to get a replay of this. Of the show, in case a lot of people don't catch the live show, but they'll catch it afterwards. Michael's saying thanks, Pete, and the ladies, great show.
Yes.
Thank you. And Katie, great friend of the show. Katie, can't wait to listen to their podcast. And Mary, great show. Thank you. Well, thank you all. And I leave every show with a toast, but next week, be sure to come back on next Tuesday night, as we're going to be with the UFO detective, James Clarkson. And we're going to be discussing all things U.S. congressional hearings and all the new news and everything. And I can't wait to get Jim's take on everything. So we're going to be back here next week. Jackie's saying great show. Thanks a lot. And great show, guys, from the Ghost Trackers UK. Awesome. We'll come back next week. Be sure to check out lunaticsouppodcast.com, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Look up Lunatic Soup. Check out Meg and Reyna's show and all the things that they get into. And with that, the past is history, the future's a mystery, but today's a gift because it's the present. There's your weekly reminder, folks, to be present. Try it once a day. I know we're all busy, but try each day to quit thinking about what you could have done yesterday and quit thinking about what you should do tomorrow. But be there in the moment. Be there with those you're with. Hug all your loved ones, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Meg and Reyna, and everybody else. We'll see you next week on WLTK-DB.com with the Paranormal Pete Show. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
The
Bye.
truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.